Hello and welcome to the Lee Michaels Show on thepowerofvoices.com, where you hear us live at this time, right about 10 o'clock till noon, Monday through Friday, on thepowerofvoices.com, on Facebook Live and YouTube. And we might kick in a couple of others today, like Bamboozer or Stream Up. Just depends on how I feel. You can listen to us live through our app. You can download it. It's free from your Apple store or the Android store, okay? So you got it from every which way. Good morning. I'm feeling good, and welcome back, Carol. How you doing?
I'm great. It was a little hot at the beach walking.
Yeah, it's a little warm out there. Definitely is, which is kind of weird because it's hotter
Usually
here
the
than it is
beach,
in
yeah.
Vegas.
The beach, too, doesn't usually get hot right away, but
Maybe we'll get some rain behind all this heat.
I don't know. Maybe we'll get an earthquake.
Don't say that.
You know, have you
Thank
been
you, no.
following this? You probably don't because you're a man, but this Angelina
mean?
Jolie split.
Yeah, I followed
Why
it.
is she slaughtering him? If you want a divorce and you're upset,
Yeah.
move on.
No, well, you know, people
Move
can't
on.
do
She
that.
wants to destroy him, and it's like, I'm kind of on his side. And for one reason why is I know a lot of things in other countries are terrible, but they are here too.
Yeah.
And I noticed when New Orleans had the hurricane and all that,
Yeah.
that man went in with his own money and
Katrina.
built houses and gave people houses.
Sure did.
She gives a lot, but not to this country, to other countries. And I just think when you have a problem, why do you got to talk to the press with your dirty laundry? Then you get mad when they get in your business and they find out stuff that you don't want them to know that you've been
Right.
doing yourself.
Well, you know, sometimes in divorces, and really the bottom line, what it comes down to, the lawyers get involved, and it's all about the money. And who wins in these divorces? Nobody but the lawyers. The lawyers
this
win.
lawyer gets, I think, like $8,000.
A day?
No,
Probably.
I think it's through an hour or something.
Yeah.
They were saying something. It's a female lawyer.
And so, listen, I've been through 400 of them. So I know nobody wins except the lawyers. The kids don't win. You don't win. The wife doesn't win. The husband doesn't win. The lawyers are the only ones that make out because they got nothing invested other than a little time pushing some papers and going to court, making filings and getting you all emotionally twisted.
Well, you know what she's trying to do? She wants complete custody of the kid, but people on that plane said he did not hit that boy.
Mm-hmm.
That boy jumped at him because they were arguing. The Chinese kid who she
Right.
had before she was ever with him, but
Right.
she don't want him to see his own children. And because you're so angry, that's wrong. The only people you're hurting is those children.
That's
children.
true. That's true.
I never can understand people why you want to hurt the children.
Well, because they're not thinking clearly. They're thinking selfishly and the money. It's all about the money. It ain't about nothing else but that money. That's what it's all about.
Did you see now where Montreal, they want to kill, nobody's allowed to have a pit bull.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's terrible. Do you realize how many thousands of dogs they want to kill?
No, I hadn't heard about that.
Yeah, the changes include a ban on all new ownerships of pit bull and pit bull type dogs. Now, I'm wondering when it says new, does that mean just new ones, not the old ones?
I don't know. I haven't been paying attention to that one. I think you mentioned it to me the other day, and that was the first I heard about
Well,
it.
the other day I knew it was about people have to get microchipped and blah, blah, this on your dog. If you don't, they'll euthanize them.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't care if you're homeless or poor.
Wow.
You know, I understand there are vicious pit bulls because I seen one, was it last week? And they wanted people to adopt him. And he had what they called C behavior. He got the dog home and the dog was fine. And all of a sudden he attacks the daughter, rips her lip and stuff. He gets him outside and he attacks him. And then the neighbor somehow helped get them in the house. And they did euthanize him after. But if they know a dog has that problem, because pit bulls have a different type mouth than most dogs, and if they lock on, it's
Yeah,
hard to
they
get
got-
that jaw open. It's a
Exactly.
wider jaw, and they crossbreed them, which isn't good.
Yeah, the pounds per square inch of pressure that they can exert from their jaw pressure is crazy. It's crazy pressure. And
It's kind of
very damaging.
It's kind of sad for the dogs. I mean, they should
Yeah.
stop letting people breed them.
Well, you would think that isn't that the pit bull a crossbreed anyway? Isn't he bred with? It's not a natural breed, if I remember correctly.
I just know they crossbreed them with their own. Maybe the mother
Yeah.
breeds with her own son. I don't know. And a lot of people they purposely make him mean, like that athlete.
Yeah.
That everybody thinks it's okay what he did, but me being an activist, a person about it, it's not okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's so sad when these dogs attack humans like that, and it's scary.
Well, where I come from, it was a thing to try to make your dog mean at that time for some reason. It'd be, you teach him, sick him. And you would do things, but I think
Yep.
about it now.
Yep.
When I walk at the marina, these dogs are all socialized, whether they're a pit bull.
Right.
The pit bulls fit right in there with them. They're
Yeah.
all socialized. They play. They actually, some of them body surf these dogs. They jump those waves. They're right in there.
Really?
And they ride that wave in. I want to get out there real early one morning and record them. It's just so cool.
Yeah, you should do that on your phone. Yeah.
Well,
That'd be fun.
now they come out so early because people don't want the dogs in the water. It's like, give me a break.
Uh-huh.
You guys shit in the water too and pee. Don't act like that. You're such a prima donna.
Nobody does that. Come on, Carol.
No, it's like I said, tell my granddaughter the other day, she was swimming. I said, did you pee in the water?
Mm.
Oh, no. I said, oh, come on. You know you peed in that water.
What do you think about the Senate has voted this morning, today, to overturn the president's veto on allowing U.S. citizens to sue Saudi Arabia that were affected by the 9/11 attack?
Is it Obama that wants him to be able to sue?
No, he does not want the.
I'm against suing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Why is that?
Well, because in that case, what about the stuff we've done in other countries like Syria? You know, we've mistaken and killed innocent people, other countries. So, are we going to pay Iraq back for killing their leader and there was no mass weapons? I mean, wouldn't you think we owe them some money?
I don't, but
Well, I do.
I understand your point.
Well,
Does it open up Pandora's
I don't think
box?
anybody owes anybody anything.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that's ridiculous because it's going to come back at our country now. So if
Well, I
we
think-
think it's, and at that time, there was a man, and the reason why I know this because he was a friend of Michael Jackson's from Saudi Arabia, from Rialdi's. Uncle was the king. He offered our country $10 million.
I remember that.
And we turned
Turned
it
it
down.
down. Yeah.
Why did we turn it down? He had no parts to do with this.
Yeah, Bush turned that down. I remember that.
Well, that was
in New York.
That wasn't cool.
Mm-hmm.
But
Well-
I don't think they should. When did we start suing when there's wars or things like that happening? I just want to know it's going to come back at us. So I think it should be left alone. I think Obama's right.
Mm-hmm. Well, the only senator that voted in step with Obama was Harry Reid, who's retiring from Nevada, where I spent some time this past weekend helping people register to vote. So 97-1. Where were the other two lugs? Are we short in the Senate? Supposed to be 100.
Isn't the government shut down right now?
Yeah, they're fighting over it. Well, we're going to see what happens with that. And Obama's position, I'm trying to find it here in my...
Does it make sense what I'm saying, though, that we do that, then they can come back at us, too?
Well, that too, but I think he's more concerned about the relations
I mean, look
between
what we
the two
did
countries.
years ago to Japan.
Right.
We took their properties out here, put them in basically, I'll call it a concentration camp.
Well, it was. Basically, it was.
We blew their country up with an atomic bomb
Well, that was in retaliation for what they did.
to Pearl Harbor.
Yeah, exactly.
But they
So,
didn't blow up a whole, and they didn't round up people. And
Yeah.
It's wrong.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. They
There's-
should not be able to sue.
There's nothing pretty about war, and I guess the because there were members of the attack team that attacked us on 9/11, many of them were from Saudi Arabia, and I guess that's the connection that victims, the families of the victims or people who died on 9/11, is their position of going after Saudi Arabia. Well, we'll see how that one turns out. I don't know. I don't know how that works. I'm not sure about, international lawsuits is very complicated and very expensive. Now you got to get some lawyers in Saudi Arabia to represent you. And is that a waste of time and money? Will they be forthcoming and represent you in a way? Or will they be a patriot to their country? Or will this have to go to like a Hague, a neutral country, for something like this to be worked out? If there are any lawyers in the audience today that is knowledgeable of how that would work out, where the lawsuit would reside, if you will, because I'm not really sure about how that works. You're suing a country for damage, loss of life. So this would be a civil lawsuit. I don't think it would be a criminal lawsuit. It's probably civil.
I have to go along with Obama.
Yeah.
Now, did you see that, man? The woman called because her brother was having a seizure. The police come and he ended up dying. He wasn't dead last night, but he's dead now.
Right. I saw that.
Why would they
Is that
shoot
the one
him?
in San Diego?
I don't know where it was. Yeah, it was in San Diego. He was mentally challenged and unarmed, and he was having a seizure, and that's why she called 911.
And
So
the cops
why
came
would
and
the
killed
cops
him.
come and kill this man?
Yeah.
It's got to stop. I'm sorry. I mean,
Because
did you see that little girl? I don't know where she was at, but she was crying and talking about how sad it is when you have to go to a graveyard to visit your parents.
Yeah. There's another shooting, and 100 people are expected to protest in response to a fatal police shooting of unnamed black man in El Cajon, California. I'm not sure how that's pronounced. My Spanish is horrible. I would call it El Calhoun, but it's probably not right. Again, the Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell is stating that they will start a vote on opening a bill on the spending bill. This is all about whether or not they're going to shut down the government, really, around 2 p.m., so in about 45 minutes.
They're shutting the government down?
No, they're going to start voting on it, what they're going to do about it. And there's a big controversy about Russia shooting down a passenger plane over Ukraine, and they're denying it, of course. They're saying we have never put missiles into Ukraine or over Ukraine. So we'll see how that shakes down. We'll keep an eye on that one.
It'd be great to listen to Elizabeth Warren's speech.
Yeah, really. Do
you have it where she's talking about when he said he never laughed and he goes, I've never had to pay a federal tax. And he said, because he was smart.
Oh, yeah.
Now he's denying he said that.
Oh, how can you deny that? Over 80 million people saw and heard you say that. Come on, man.
I think what bothered me the most is when he said he wants rich to have less taxes so they can build more businesses. I thought, what a greedy asshole.
Not only that, it won't work. That trickle-down thing has never worked. Didn't work under the Bushes. Really didn't work under Reagan. Trickle-down economics does not work. It did not work. This country has always done better under a Democratic control House, Congress, and the presidency. It does better. Look at the last 8 years. That's right. All of you hate-filled Republicans / conservatives, yes, I said it, you guys are in denial. You would rather live in a lie than to face the truth. The truth is the country is better off today than it was 8 years ago, 9 years ago, 10 years ago. Come on, folks.
Well, I found funny too when he said about Ford they're going to have the smaller cars built over there.
Yeah, well,
and he's against outsourcing, but he outsources.
Of course he does.
So what is he talking about?
He's a hypocrite.
But I just want to know, how has he gotten away with not paying taxes?
Well, because he's smart.
That's what he said.
Because he pushes the envelope. And yes, there are loopholes. If you got enough lawyers and tax experts, they can figure out how to exercise the benefits in these various loopholes and press the envelope, push the envelope, go a little bit beyond. That's how you do it. You cheat. It's called cheating. And that's why your monkey ass is constantly being audited. It's real simple. Carol, let me ask you this. How many times have you been audited?
Once. They made me pay a lot of money.
Okay.
And it was my tax man that cost it, and they told me to make him. The interest is what really went up.
Sure, they kill you on that.
He insisted that I paid for some tickets that I did, and I kept telling him, no, I don't pay for my own travel.
Right.
He does. Oh, don't worry. I said, no, I don't pay for it, but he insisted. They gave me a terrible penalty, and I had to pay so much money.
So once in your life, and why is it that Donald Trump, he claims he gets audited all the time, every year? It's because you're doing something wrong. And then when you continuously do stuff that's questionable, the red flag is attached to your account. So they check you out every damn time because the last time you did something, it wasn't cool or it was very questionable or one took over the line. So that's how you get on the hit list.
Have you been audited?
I wasn't really audited.
Oh, it's horrible.
It was a question on my federal taxes. And they just asked a question. We explained it and everything was fine. But it was a mistake that my accountant made. It wasn't my mistake. But I'm responsible for that because it's my taxes. Your taxes, you bear the liability.
They
now,
go
whether
through
or not
your whole life when you're audited.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Do you
no,
have
I didn't go
safe
through
deposit box?
No, I don't have any of that.
They want to see how many times you went in it.
Yeah? Wow.
Which I did. I only put jewelry in there and left it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a horrible feeling.
They ask you about whether or not you wear underwear and all of that?
No, but they check on you about your clothing allowance.
Really?
Because of what I do, I can write some clothing off.
Sure. Yeah, no, I've never been through that. And I've made quite a bit of money, but I paid a lot of taxes. I remember one year I paid $485,000 in federal income tax. And I went, damn, is there anything I can do? And the guy said, well, no, they've taken away all the tax loopholes and things, and the only thing you can do is buy a bigger house, but it's too late for that this year.
And then you have to pay so many taxes on that bigger house.
Yeah. So, I didn't like the fact to have to write that check, but I did.
Because I see a lot of entertainers, especially, they'll buy a $20 million home, and then all of a sudden, 10 years down the road, they're trying to get rid of it.
Yeah.
And, my advice is always, what do you need a home like that for?
Yeah,
buy some property, do anything that later on down the road, it's going to bring in income to you.
That's right. Well, you got to live the big dog life, the bling bling.
You want to hear
impress
something
somebody.
funny? Somebody
What you
just
got?
put a breaking news on my phone. Penis implant.
Excuse me.
Microsoft and Apple have come up with a penis implant.
Wait a minute.
will
I don't
alert
think
you.
I want one from Microsoft.
It will alert you when your man is cheating. They're probably lying.
Yeah, that's a joke.
It will alert your phone if your partner goes astray.
Oh,
and then you see this guy, he's going, no,
No, that's a joke.
no. It's a tiny chip. Now, how are they going to
Yeah.
implant that chip with the man not knowing?
Exactly. Yeah, that's That's a joke.
It's a good joke.
Yeah, it is. That's funny. You know, one of my Facebook friends that I really have never met, we just, how you friend with someone that you like what they post and all that. And her name is Rio. And yesterday on one of our talk shows, You're Not Alone, they had her on as a guest. And when they said Rio, I'm sitting there, I was producing the show. I went, Rio. And I'd never heard her voice before, so I didn't know what she sounded like. So I'm sitting there with my little iPad, and I pulled up her Facebook page, and I held it up to one of the talk show hosts, and I said, is this her? And she said, yeah, you know her? I said, yeah, well, we're friends on Facebook. So small world. So I've invited her to be a part of our show. She does those kind of posts, and she always comes up with things that are funny against men and what have you. And I think that's what I was attracted to. But her sense of humor was like, it's crazy. Oh yeah, wow.
That kid
Yeah, I've
deserved
seen
it.
that. Yeah. Cat smacking on a kid
No,
smacking on a cat.
That kid, he really hit that cat.
Yeah, and the cat retaliated.
See, because if you were at my house and that happened and my cat didn't retaliate, I
You
will
would.
sneakily find a way to retaliate. You should teach your kids not to hit animals.
Yeah, that's cruel. So that was a funny experience I had yesterday. Small world. So she's got a off the wall sense of humor, and I'm gonna try to get her on the show so we can laugh a bit. There's so many serious things going on in the world. Did you see the story? I saw it this morning when I got up, but apparently there's been some kind of genetic experiment, if you will, and now there's a child born to 3 parents.
Yeah, I seen that, but it worked out.
Yeah, well, that's going to be interesting. I mean, it's already tough enough to have 2 parents, now 3. How do you deal with that? I mean, if everything is fine and you have no problems, everybody's cool. So, I guess it's 2 fathers, right? So 2 daddy babies.
Well, there's been incidents anyway where babies have been born and there's 2 different fathers.
Oh,
They're
I never heard of
twins.
that.
There's twins where one's white and one's black.
Get out of here. You're
Yeah,
making that up.
No, I'm not. I've seen it online.
Really?
Yeah, I'll find it for you.
Find it. I don't know. I never heard of that one. So 2 different fathers father 2 different children and the same mom at the same time.
Well, that's how I took it when one looked white and one looked black.
Did they admit that was the reality?
I don't know. I just seen it. They had them on a show once.
I guess it's possible. If you have sex with 2 people pretty much at the same time, boom shakalaka. Wow. That's bizarre. And then twins are born, one's black, one's white.
I mean, wouldn't it take 2 different sperms to make that twin?
I don't know how that works. I guess that, yeah, she got pregnant at the same time and from 2 different sperms.
I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying that's
Yeah.
how I took the article.
Right. Wow. That's bizarre. I didn't know that was possible.
The odds of a mixed race couple having twins. Oh, there was a mixed race couple.
And they had twins, and then, okay,
One's
one
white
was
and one's black.
interesting.
Let me see if I can find some images. Yeah, here's different ones.
Wow. Let me see that.
You could scroll and look at more pictures.
Wait, it's
But I have
4
a friend,
children.
her mother's white and her father was black, and
Okay.
some of them came out looking all white.
It looks like there's two sets, 2 families here. Let me see if I can get this focused. It's probably not going to work too well. But there's 2 women. Both of them look to be, I guess they could be African American, but they look more Latino than African American, at least to me. But I'm blind in one eye, I can't see out of the other. So I guess there's two women who have given birth to twins, and looks like one is black and one is white from each case. That's interesting. I didn't know that was possible.
Well, it is in a way.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
You can have a family. Okay, they're saying this one's a black and white twin, biracial, same mother, but two different dads.
Wow.
You see the writing on that?
That's bizarre. That is bizarre. I never heard of that before.
Look at this one. Looks could be deceiving. Two sets of twin cousins with one born. It's weird.
Mm.
No,
I guess anything's possible. And I guess it's all about timing when the mother's ovulating and whatever comes up that tunnel says, it's like Pac-Man. Wooga, 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 wooga.
Well, see, these two do look mixed to me. He doesn't look white.
Yeah,
He looks just lighter.
yeah, exactly. So let's see, what else is happening here? The campaign trail is heating up. Michelle Obama's in Philadelphia today, stumping for Hillary. Obama's about to go into Florida. Hillary is in Florida, and I think North Carolina today. The stumpster is, who knows where he is? I think I read he was going to be in Philadelphia today or something. I'm not sure. But the campaign trail is heating up. He is in denial about the debate on Monday night. He says he won. And only people that are saying that he won are his supporters. So if you poll nothing but Trump supporters, then you'll get a landslide, no question.
What did he win? His own argument?
He won nothing, in my opinion. The only cool thing about that debate for Trump was the first few minutes. He was a little cool, calm, and collected, laid back. But see, when Hillary hit him with that first uppercut,
he was cool. He was sweating.
Well, I mean, but he wasn't antagonizing. You know, he was more laid back.
See, I didn't feel he was. I felt like he was trying to get her to lose her temper.
But that didn't work.
He wouldn't shut up.
That's exactly what he was trying to do.
Watch from the time he came out and watch as it goes in towards it. Look at his lip. All of a sudden, his lip's like a stroke victim.
But yeah, she hit him with a couple of punches that got him unnerved. And then he was out of control after that.
Well, she was more prepared than him.
Of course.
She's prepared to be the president.
Absolutely.
Can you imagine him in a meeting and he's the president and he starts fighting with people? Because that's what he would do.
Of course. He would act a damn fool. And it's not like a business meeting. If the deal falls apart, you walk away. But when you got lives on the line and big trade deals, and somebody walks away from the negotiation table on you, then chances are they're not going to come back because you pissed them off real bad, and they don't need you.
Well, he doesn't want
to
NATO.
that degree.
You didn't pay attention. He
Oh,
feels
I heard him say that. That
Let's
ain't
see,
going
the
away.
Chinese are lying. There's no global warming.
Yeah, well.
He said such stupid stuff. Even Russia said she won this. I seen an article where they
Is
said
that right?
Russians said it. He was he was an embarrassment to this country. He's an idiot.
He's an embarrassment to himself, and then he's been jumping on Kaepernick for kneeling or not putting his hand over his heart.
Well, what was this when he was going on about black and Hispanics, how poor they? I have a lot of black friends that are some of the richest people around. I mean, there's poor white people too. But when he was sitting there and we got it, I couldn't even listen at times. I was like begging him to shut up. Let her talk. I was screaming, let her talk.
Yeah, well, he's
Quit
totally
interfering,
disrespectful.
like I'm doing with Lee right now.
Yeah, that's all right. I don't mind. I don't pay you any attention.
Well, he came off my subject. How would a white couple have two black triplets? 3, one set of, and they're all black.
And now that's a big question.
No, you know what they're doing right now? They
That's a
can
DNA
do your
test.
DNA.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are finding out they have other stuff in them they never knew they had.
Well, welcome to the world.
My sister wants to do her DNA.
Really?
Yep.
What does she think?
She just wants to do it just to see.
Mm-hmm.
There was somebody she knows did it, and his came out that he had some black blood in him.
Mm-hmm.
People forget
Well, it's hard
that
not
back
to.
in the slavery days,
There was a lot of that going
the
down.
master, as they called him, the white master,
Mm-hmm.
he would have sex with the black women, the young ones, and they
Yep.
would create light children, and
Yep.
then he would have sex with that lighter child they would have sex with.
Mm.
And then people go, well, why are they all Smith and Jones? And I go, because that's what their names were, Smith
That's right.
and Jones.
It took on the slave master's name.
Yes.
It became his product, his child. And
They
that's
must
real.
have took on our names too or something, because I would think we had Indian names.
No, they put everything under themselves. You know, it's just like Donald Trump. He's self-serving. It's all about the Trumpster. It's not about the people. You know, did you see any of the interviews? I think it was CNN was at a Trump rally, and I think it was in Florida. Yes, it was in Florida. And the people were attacking verbally the news reporters. And I'm going, what is this? And they was like, get out of here. This one woman, she was just so outraged and just, she was like an animal. And
See, I couldn't be at something like that.
Why would you be so hate-filled? And they're so uninformed.
Well, they're
I will say
uneducated.
it in plain English. They're ignorant. If they believe anything that comes out of this pie hole of this bonehead guy, and I'm sick and tired of even saying his name. I'm going to not refer to him by his name anymore. He's so disgusting. So if you guys believe, first of all, that he's going to build a wall and all the other despicable things that he said, then that is a poor reflection on your intelligence. Anytime a man who's running for the presidency to say, I can go into Times Square and shoot someone, and you idiots are going to continue to follow me. How can you think that's okay? It's not. It's an insult on your intelligence. If you've got an IQ 2 points below plant life, you ought to be able to see that that is a punch in your eye. He's saying that you're that stupid that you will follow him. He could shoot someone in Times Square and you will still follow him. Look at my African American over here. What?
Well, I don't know. They were at one place and they had 20 people in Florida, and they were all undecided voters. And when when it was over, the debate, they talked to these 20 people. Now 2 stayed undecided.
Right.
Because they wanted to hear more on the Medicare and that. But how could you when Trump wouldn't let no one talk?
Exactly.
But
he destroyed the whole debate.
Out of 20 people,
18
said they would vote for Hillary now.
Yep, I saw that. And even on a Fox News poll, it was 16 people that said that Hillary won the debate. So, I mean, I don't know. You can't believe your lying eyes, I guess.
Well, no, actually, that out of that group, they said they would vote for her.
Right. So the bottom line, folks, is this guy is out of control. He acts like a heathen. He's disrespectful. He's insulted women, Asians, blacks, whites, young, old, everybody. And anybody that goes lockstep with this guy has to be very, very soft in the head to believe anything that this guy says. He's making claims that he's never going to be able to deliver. If he becomes the president, many of the Republicans, the establishment Republicans, don't like him. I think they will treat him as badly as they treated Barack Obama. Almost. Not quite. Because they don't like him at all. They're insulted by many of these comments. They're insulted because they've been defeated. And you should feel bad. And I'm talking to the establishment of the Republican Party. You should feel real bad because you allowed this outsider come in and upset your apple cart. You can't stop him. You can't control him. You have nothing to contribute to this guy at all. He owns you. The Republican Party is that man's bitch. Now, I'm breaking it down to plain street language because all of you uninformed followers, I'm talking to you.
Well, actually, Hillary's out there herself getting people to vote.
Oh, of course. But this guy, he has no respect for himself. In everything that he does, it's all about him. When he admitted during debate that he didn't pay any taxes because he's smart. He went in and took the advantage of the downturn in the housing debacle. That's business. That's good business for him. Yeah, and listen, he's not the only guy. And if I had some extra money, I would probably buy some of these properties as well because it's a good buy. But when you flaunt that and the way that you talk about it, it's like, too bad, so sad, you dummies. You should have lost your house. That's the impression I get from him. He has no compassion for anyone that may be falling hard on their luck. That's not American. That's not presidential. That's not who we are. This country is not about that. We help people all over the world. We help people at home. I think we can do more of that. That's just my opinion. Breaks my heart when I see people that are homeless. It breaks my heart when I see people walking down the street, hitting themselves in the head like this because they have a mental problem. And nobody seems to give a damn about that human being. That somebody's brother or sister, father, uncle, cousin, daddy. You don't know, but he's a human being and happens to be an American, down on his luck, need help. And we look the other way and say, oh, well. And you don't even care. You don't think about it. You don't go, what happened to this guy? He might have been a rocket scientist. Who knows? He may have been a major contributor to this society. And something went wrong. It's just like our military vets, active and inactive military. They go over and they fight a war. They see some horrible, horrible, despicable things in war. They experience that. They see it. They go to sleep every night seeing somebody die. And they come back home and they're having a hard time. And we say, oh, well, go to the VA, see what up. Maybe they can help you over there. And we've shut down hospitals for the veterans. We shouldn't be shutting down. We should be building up. We should be trying to find more doctors to serve, more nurses, more specialists. Train up people who have a special ability to help people that have gone through these traumatic situations. There should be no debate about that. There should be no long conversation about it. It should just be done. The monies should be appropriated, and we need to get these buildings up and hire people and get them in these veteran hospitals to help our vets that put their lives on the line, that volunteer to protect and serve this country. That's what should be happening. We should be rebuilding our infrastructure in this country. We should increase the minimum wage. We need to fix. I said fix, not delete.
No, they need to put a freeze on these rents and lower them.
Well, that's a part of it. We need to fix Obamacare. We need to make it truly affordable for everyone. That will help get a handle on these diseases and sicknesses. It'll help get people back to work sooner. So our employees will have strong, healthy, working staff members. We need more common sense elected officials to go in the right spirit and will fight for change to help all of America, not just a little segment, not just the Latinos or the blacks or just the whites, everyone, all Americans. Let's break down these labels, these categories, these groups, and let's do blanket policy that helps everyone. Now, if there are some anemic, hard-served areas, then yes, we need to focus in on that. Not at any expense of anything else. It's not difficult. It's just about doing it. And I talked a little bit about this yesterday, Carol. The legacy of President Barack Obama will not be continued, will not be amplified, will not be further advanced by Donald Trump. Now, there are people out there that I know are saying, well, that's good because I don't like him. I didn't vote for him anyway. Well, too bad. But your monkey ass benefited from many of the policies that he's been able to implement. You're still alive. The world did not come to an end. You've been paying your rent. You've got a job. Your gas prices are lower. The stock market is higher. The cost of living has not gone through the roof. The country is stronger. But you're in denial. You don't see any of that. So the things that he has not been successful in really implementing, Hillary Clinton is the solution to that. Hillary is committed to further advancing those policies that are in place and the things that he was trying to implement. We need to elect Hillary Clinton and change the balance of the House and the Senate. That is the only way that the change that Obama ran on is really going to fulfill or be fulfilled. Plain and simple. We need to stop the politics. The Republicans need to get in step and start serving the people, all of the people, not just the little needleheads that you're pandering to. You need to get cleaned up. Stop taking all of the special interest money. Say no to the insurance companies. Say, no, I'm sorry. I can't be paid. I can't be bought. This is not in the best interest of the people in this country. No, I will not sign a bill that increases 1% a month in insurance fees. No, I'm not going to do that. The reason you're doing it is because you are self-serving, because you really don't care about the constituents that put you in office. You are selfish. You are just like Donald Trump. Oh, damn, I didn't mean to say his name. I apologize. But you're just like him. You know better? Wake up. America needs to wake up. You need to get rid of the Mitch McConnells, the career politicians. Vote his punk ass out. Get rid of him. What has he done for the people in Kentucky? There's still people living in little shacks with blue tarps. need dental care, need medical care. But he would rather keep his foot on your neck and hold you down, black, white, or not. He doesn't care. Anyway, see, Carol, you come in and get me all upset. Get me on a rant. Y'all better listen. You better wake up. This is what it's all about. This is very, very important. Every election is important, even the midterm. I'm going to remind you again. I said it yesterday. I said it the day before. Every election, you need to show up. Not every other election, not just the presidential election. After this presidential election in November, on the 8th of November, 2 years later, there'll be a midterm election where a lot of House and Senate members are up for re-election. You need to look at each one of those candidates, the candidates that represent you in your state, in your region, wherever you live, and you need to dig into their voting record. Did they vote based on what you believe in, what's important to you? If they're just sitting there saying no to every damn thing, then they're no good. If they're saying no to things that are going to advance this country, that's going to get people employed, so we can further bring down the unemployment rate, so that we can get rid of the crime in our neighborhoods, we can keep the air clean or make it cleaner, clean up our rivers and oceans, ensure that the food that we go to the grocery store is clean and safe to eat, to put some kind of control on the cost of living. That's what we need to be paying attention to. Not where 30,000 damn emails. Who knows? Who cares? Is that really important? And I guarantee you, he's going to come back and start talking about Monica Lewinsky and all these other so-called situations with Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton ain't running for the presidency. He's already been raked over the coals. He's been impeached. He's been through all of that. Now you're going to put that on Hillary? Like Hillary had something to do with any of that? Bill Clinton is not running again. And really, in my mind, that dog won't hunt. It's meaningless. Truth be known, truth be told, Hillary was a victim. She didn't do anything wrong. She didn't say, hey, Bill, go over there and hit that one. No, come on, man. So what's in your closet, dude? Now, I've seen some shady stuff out there. I don't know if it's real or not. And I haven't talked about it because I haven't verified to know whether it's credible information or not. But you're telling me that Donald Trump has never done anything wrong? You're telling me that his taxes is not an issue, that we don't need to be concerned about that? You're telling me all of the vendors that he has taken advantage of? There was an architect, Carol, at the debate that he didn't pay.
Well, he talked about that.
Yeah, he said, well, he didn't do a good job. Well, at what point did you decide or know that he didn't do a good job? After the fact? At your grand opening? Must not have been a bad job. You were able to open up the establishment, right? So that's bull. But he thinks we're stupid. Because I said so. That's how he lives. It's because I said so. Believe me. I'm telling you. All those little phrases he uses. And people buy into that. Just like the guy that was walking in the grocery store in Vegas. I said, sir, are you registered to vote? Hillary's a crook. I said, I didn't ask you about that. I said, and where did you hear that? He didn't stop. He didn't want to engage. He just walked in and told the manager to get rid of us. I know who did it. The evil SOB. I know. And she comes out there and lied to me and tell me it's a corporate policy, and it's not. Because, see, I check. I called a member of the corporate structure of Kroger, and I was informed that it is not a company policy. It is a manager's policy. So you lied. And if I was living in Las Vegas, I would boycott Smith's. And I spent a lot of money there. That's where I bought all of my groceries, at Smith's. If I was living there now, I wouldn't. I wouldn't even drive past their parking lot. That's how bad I'm upset about it. And they had some Boy Scouts out there selling popcorn and cookies and stuff. You allowed them. And I told the lady, I said, hell, I'm a former Boy Scout, Cub Scout, Boy Scout, Explorer, and Order of the Arrow. I went through the complete scouting system from A to Z. The only thing I didn't do was become a scout master, and I'm qualified to do that. If I wanted to and had time to, I probably would. So you can let the scouts sit out front. And the lady that was with the scouts, she said, hey, they've run 4 or 5 other people away from here before we even started. And within 15 minutes, we registered 3 people. And we weren't just trying to register Democrats. Anybody can register. During the 2 days that we were there, there's several other members that came out there to register people, indicated they even registered some Republicans. See, my point is this. Everyone should vote. I'm not going to tell you who to vote for. And it would be illegal for us to campaign for a particular party when you're out there registering people to vote. It's against the law. And I didn't ask him about who he wanted to vote for. The only time I would engage in conversation of that is if the person brought it up. I even removed my name and the Hillary sticker from my shirt because I didn't want it to be any kind of bias one way or the other. It was about getting people to register to vote, period. My position, my belief is anyone that is 18 or older should participate in the process. You may not have the perfect candidate to vote for, but look at what that candidate is campaigning on, and then make a decision based on what makes sense in your world. Which candidate is talking about issues that are important to you? The difference between the 2 candidates, on Hillary's site, there's over 100 and some thousand pages of stuff to read through. It's a lot. And most people are not going to consume all of that information. On this other guy's site, he's got 3,000. So he is the soundbite candidate. He's going to give you little snippets. I'm not going to tell you exactly what I'm going to do because I don't need to. No, it's because you really don't have your stuff together, dude. You're not being transparent. You're not being open. You're not showing me enough reasons for me to care about you, to think or consider you to vote for. So if you don't like Hillary because she's got too much information, well, I don't know what to say about that. I would rather have too much information than just a thumbnail. From that debate, I took this. He didn't win any. He didn't lose any. Because anybody that's already committed to vote for him, they're probably not going to change. But what's important here is I think he has peaked. He may grow a little bit, but he is basically at his plateau. I don't believe that America is that ignorant to think that this guy is remotely capable of running this country. Running a shyster type company that he does is a big difference than running a country. And when you're putting the power in the hands of a man that's going to send our sons and daughters and grandchildren into war, I don't trust his judgment. And I don't trust the people that he's going to surround himself with. I think they are as twisted as he is. So that's why I cannot support this guy. I said that years ago when he threw out a little possibility of running. In fact, I bought some domain names, Dump Trump and stuff like that, because I was going to campaign against him. Because he doesn't have it, folks. There's nothing attractive about Donald Trump as it relates to becoming the president of the United States of America, the most powerful nation in the world. And you think this guy's qualified? No. Our president, I think, named him correctly. Carnival Barker. That's what he is. He needs one of those little megaphones and a little stage. Come on up right now. Come on up. Cotton candy, popcorn, free admission to the greatest bullshit on earth. Lee Michaels Show will return in just a moment. We are live Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to noon on thepowerofvoices.com. Hang on, we'll chop it up some more in just a moment.
Than talk, we are a conversation. Thepowerofvoices.com.
Every day I wake up at 5 to give Dad his medicine. Every day I wake up at 5 to give Dad his medicine. At 6 I make his breakfast. Every day I wake up at 5 to give Dad his medicine. At 6 I make his breakfast. At 7 I shower. Every day I wake up
For
at
those
5.
caring for a loved one, we hear you. That's why AARP created a community to help us better care for ourselves and the ones we love. Visit aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Attention Las Vegas residents. Olympic Cleaning Services is the company for all your green cleaning needs. Call us now, 866-984-7444. Olympic Cleaning Services specializes in residential, commercial, construction, move-in, move-out, carpet cleaning, auto detailing, and we also provide emergency services when you need it. Call us now, 866-984-7444. For all first-time customers, you'll receive 15% off. Call us now, 866-984-7444, or go to OlympicCleaningservices.com. Go green today.
Hey, let me ask you something. Would you seat your 3-year-old child on a windowsill? Would you seat them beside a lit fireplace or by the deep end of a pool? One last question. Would you seat your child in a car seat that's not correct for them? Car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Secure their future. Seat them in the correct car seat. For more information, visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Hey, this is Greg Bell from the Rams Sports and Life on thepowerofvoices.com. Join me every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday as I'll be talking Rams, sports, and life. And you never know who's going to join me on the show. So make sure you check out Rams, sports, and life on thepowerofvoices.com.
Can you hear it? Change is coming. Thepowerofvoices.com.
All right, welcome back to the Lee Michaels Show on thepowerofvoices.com. We are a daily talk show that's heard on thepowerofvoices.com, seen on Facebook Live and YouTube. Just search The Power of Voices, and you'll find us. Thank you so much for taking your time and tuning in to us. We appreciate it. And don't forget to hit that share button. Right there, wherever you're watching us, Facebook or YouTube, hit the share button and share it to all of your friends so we can take the show viral, be heard around the world. We keep it simple, to the point, break it down in everyday common sense language. Don't try to get too sophisticated with it. We want to appeal to everyone, even to the knucklehead Republicans who have been bamboozled by that guy. I'm trying to help you, trying to bring you out of that fog, that dark corner in the world of darkness. It's evil. It's not good. It's not, more importantly, it's not going to advance the United States of America. We should be talking about the issues that affect your everyday life. What your needs are, what hurdles are in front of you that's preventing you from being more successful. I believe that everyone should attempt to live out their dreams. If you see an opportunity, you should have the opportunity to pursue it, the ability to do it. So what do you need? First thing, get started. Get started on whatever it is you want to achieve. Don't sit around and think about it and do 5 versions of the business plan. And, once you get the plan in place and it makes sense, you've had some experts to help you do it. Do it. Go for it. Don't be afraid. More importantly, if you don't start, you'll never finish. And even if you get it started and you can't finish it, maybe someone else can. You know how I look at things? I wake up every day and say, okay, I got another shot. I got another shot. I'm going to go in and we'll try to do the best that I can to make something happen, to change someone's life or help someone change their life. That's what I'm trying to do. Because if my life ends right now, I will have made an attempt to do something good to help others. And I can sleep with that. So I encourage anyone that's got an idea to pursue it. Go for it. Don't sit around and procrastinate and don't do it. Carol, how did you start in the industry that you're in? What was your motivation? I know it was 105 years ago, but if you can think back.
What was my motivation?
Yeah. How'd you get started?
Well, I started with extensions because at that time in weaves, it was mainly just black women of color that wore it.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to this older lady because I was already doing makeup and hair for photo shoots. Because I did Vanessa Williams right after they took her title from her.
Really? I met her around that time.
So I went to this older lady and she taught me all the different ways. And then I went to Jamaicans and they taught me how to make fake dreads. I took a lot of classes.
Okay.
And then I came up with my own stuff. And I decided I was going to Beverly Hills, where the money was.
Okay.
I started assisting a top hairdresser. And I let him know that I could do perms. I could do relaxers. I could do black hair. I told him I could do wefts, weaving.
Okay.
That white women didn't wear them. So I think there was me and maybe 2 other people that only did Caucasian wefts. And one of them, she moved, and one's still out here.
Did you have any fears
No,
No fears.
no. And I started
Is
doing
it because
women.
you really knew what you were doing?
I was good. I'm still good.
Okay.
I can do things other people don't. I laugh when I see people tape hair on people. It's a new thing.
Tape?
Yeah, we've done that for years. It
Really?
not new. And
Uh-huh.
I can understand when people of color get upset, but you don't own the hairstyle. But I have to agree with them there. You didn't start that. We've been gluing wefts on people for years and taping them on. It's not new. It's not something I would do every day, but a lot of women of color can do it to themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They can tape them on, and they do that. But
When you tape
You-
it, that's like a temporary thing. You're
yeah,
not trying
well, these people now are using some type of glue they add to it, and I've had clients come to me where it's ripped their whole hair out.
to. Yeah.
But when I started doing extensions individuals, I do my own technique. And I blend maybe 5 different colors. People don't realize they have many colors in their head.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm known for that. But a
Okay.
lot of times I don't get credit for my work. Hairdressers take credit for my work.
Yeah. Well,
Like
you know.
I recently did somebody, and I looked on the woman's page, and she said 4 shades of blonde she used.
Mhm.
The only thing she did was color the base, and maybe I asked her to put a few little lowlights, but all that was my work. And it kind of irritated me because when I put it up, I put her name that she colored and she cut.
Right. You
But
gave her
I
credit, but she didn't give you any.
back after, and I edited it, and I
Uh-huh.
said she only colored the top since she
Right.
wanted to be so rude
Right.
or selfish is how I looked at it.
Of course.
She went ahead again because somebody came in and they said Carol Lemire does the best extensions. She went back in and posted it again and put 4 shades again. But on that page, she put something like she gave me the job. She didn't give me no job. I took the client to her. If that's what she's saying, I don't know what she's saying because she misspelled. And
Yeah.
I
Well,
go
she
through this
doesn't know
all
either.
the time. Like people come to me and they go, I'm slow. Do you have some clients? I'm kind of gotten to a point. I'm not giving clients to people. Let them go to whoever they want because people just aren't loyal. I'll get my clients where I get their hair real healthy because I won't let people color it when I'm doing them. And they'll turn around and they'll take the extensions off after I get there. And then 3 months later, the woman comes back to me and her hair's all broke off. The hair that I helped grow.
Mm.
So I've kind of quit giving people clients. And I know I need that, but most of those people never give me a client anyway.
Yeah. So your thing is what's good for the client, the customer.
Oh, yeah, I
Not
don't want
just
it
to
where
make the
they
money.
got to wear them the rest of their lives. But
Right.
there are people that do because they have thin hair.
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed my wealthy clients, or a lot of them that do a lot of plastic surgery, they'll have no choice. I have some that they're almost bald from doing all that plastic surgery.
So you
And I can put hair on them.
yeah,
People can't believe what I can do. I mean, and I can
got
guarantee
that
you,
magic touch.
when I take them off, I'm very, very careful.
Mm-hmm. See, and I asked her that question for a reason, and she didn't hesitate. She knew what she was doing. The key part, what she said in the beginning, was she got training. She became an expert because she got training. Some people have a natural knack for doing certain things, but you got to know the why and the why not and the how and the how. You got to know it all. You can't just jump in the pool and start swimming if you've never been to a swimming class. You might eventually.
Well, you know, too, there's always more room for education. I
Sure.
will go out and learn new techniques like when Great Lengths came out, but I wasn't happy with them.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people use it, but I know hair. And I know they use shoe glue.
Shoe glue.
And I know what they do. They sell a bundle, which I even asked them at the time, how many ounces is in a bundle? They couldn't even answer that. I weighed it out. It was 1/4 of an ounce. Then they want you to cut them in half and charge a woman $10 for each one. So if you put 100 in, you're only giving her 1/4 ounce of hair. But these women don't know that. I don't do that.
Mm.
I'll go out and I'll buy anywhere from 4 ounces to 8 ounces of hair for that lady. And whatever's left, I tell her to put it in a shoebox.
Mm-hmm.
And when she comes back,
Bring it back
bring
and
it
we'll
back.
use it. Yeah.
and we'll reuse the hair that comes out too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very honest with clients. I don't make what I do just for wealthy people.
Mm-hmm.
I have clients that at one time paid me big money and things changed for them.
Mm-hmm.
And I basically let them pay me what they can,
Right.
unless it's a little too low.
Well, you
But
got to
I'm
be
pretty fair with
compensated for your
people.
time. Sure. But
You
that's
know.
but see, that's what keeps your customers loyal to you because they know you care about more than just
Well, it
making the
isn't
money.
even just that. I have people, they say to me, like I had a client that was very mean to me, and other hairdressers I would hire, they go, how do you not walk out? How do you allow her to talk to you? I go, part of running a business is learning how to deal with
Mm-hmm.
assholes. If you can't deal with the ups and downs, you don't need to have a business because
That's hard.
there are going to be ups and downs.
No
and
question.
You got to know how to treat somebody no matter what that person does to you. You got to think about that money you're going to walk out with.
That's true.
So at the time when you're working with that person, and I don't care what business it is, you got to just say to yourself, I got to let her talk. I
That-
got to deal with what they're going to say to me. And
Yeah.
this is in any business. If you can't and you want to be mean or get jealous of somebody you're working with, then you don't need to own a business. And that's why a lot of people cannot run a business, and it's advisable they hire
true.
somebody that can run a business, because I have a lot of patience, especially to do what I do.
Mm-hmm. You have to.
Even when Sky first went with record company, I sat in meetings, and there were times people would say to me, you should be running this record company, because I was very easy to talk to, but I'm not a dummy. And
Yes.
you have to move with
We
the
got to
flow.
tell people who Sky is. Sky is her granddaughter.
You can't go back
Who's
in
a singer.
time to how they used to do something.
Mm-hmm.
You got to move ahead with the time. And that's why I started making my own way of doing extensions, because I found out weaving was what everybody did at the time. And I did it one time, do these small, I'd do maybe a braid of not even a fourth of an inch, and I would tie it in with string. I would loop stitch it. The same thing you do when you knit. And that worked for a while, but it was very tedious. I mean,
Yeah.
I had a client once, I'm not going to name her name, but her head was so big, I had to bring an assistant in.
Yeah, let me
Because-
think about it. Who's got a big head?
So, I find
Give me
out,
another clue.
I wouldn't say her name. That wouldn't be fair to her. Even if I don't do somebody, I'm not going to do that to her. But
Singer, actress, what?
both,
TV,
everything.
movie, everything.
So getting back to it, I just see that with any business. A lot of times people will hire a college person that's very smart
Yeah,
to work for them, but they'll hire someone like me to run their business.
yeah,
And I'm not all
And that makes sense.
college, because I know how to talk to people.
yeah.
And I'll go in and learn new things. Just like I'm getting ready to talk to somebody about some new extension they have that they put on with a machine. I'm curious.
Really?
So I'm going to take their class.
Robot.
And I'm probably more qualified than they are, but I want to learn to see what they're doing. Maybe
Sure.
it might be something I want to use, and maybe it won't be.
Exactly, but you got to know about it.
But I have been getting a lot of people asking me would I give classes, and it's something I have to think about, because it's my own technique, and do I want to share it?
Yeah.
I've trained a lot of people, though. I've trained people to weave. I've trained them to do braided extensions. And one thing I make them do, and I've asked, is please do not do these until you've practiced on people
What
for
is-
a good 6 months, because you got to know your hair. You can't, if you put it on wrong and you drop it, leave it on the floor, because if you don't know which is the root, you're in trouble. If that hair gets turned around. And a lot of people don't know this, and then they wonder why certain things are happening.
What is the worst thing that you run across, say, from a new client, and they come in and you look at it? What is the biggest mistake that happens right now in the industry that you're in?
Well, I used to let people come to my house to meet them,
Mm-hmm.
and I find out you got to be really careful, maybe get to know the person. And I had this gentleman come. It's a very funny story, because there was a kid there that I was using him a lot to help out to cut and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he actually, afterwards, he had a big reality show, and I can't think, Jonathan. Anybody that watched the show knows who I'm talking about. So he was there to help me. The guy comes in, and he has this big hunting knife.
Mm.
And I have fruit on the table, and he goes, do you mind? I said, no. And he peels out this hunting knife. I'm like, oh, shit.
We got a serial killer here with a big hunting knife.
Shit. I go, oh, excuse me a minute. I go in the room where my daughter is, and I said, lock the door. And if you hear something going on, go out the window.
Mm-hmm.
So I came back out, and he's still with that knife.
Was he
And
cutting a piece of fruit or something?
Yeah, but he's holding it, and it's a hunting knife. Your friend knows what a hunting knife is.
Yeah, I know what a hunting knife. I have a couple of them.
I get scared, and I go in my bedroom, and I lock the door, and I leave Jonathan out there.
So Jonathan is cutting the guy's hair?
No, I hadn't talked to him. No, we weren't cutting it yet. I was going to do talk to him, a consultation.
Right. Okay. Wow.
But so I come back out. Jonathan bangs on the door. I come back out, and the guy, all of a sudden, he's sitting there, whoop, whoop, and he's saying the F word. He starts, this.
Wow.
So this is a good thing for people to learn, and I should have paid more attention.
So don't bring strangers to the house.
It wasn't bad. Mm-hmm. So I go back in again. He starts cussing. Jonathan's banging on the door. You need to come out here. Don't you do this to me. So I came out and decided, okay, and this is a good thing to learn. I looked at it and said, you know what? I know I can do your hair, so why don't you call me? I'm very booked for the next 3 weeks, and call me back, and we'll set up a time to do you.
Right.
And he laughed. Turn around. He goes to a friend of mine that sold hair. Find out he was Tourette's.
Really?
He didn't mean any harm.
See?
And he really did want an orange. So to make a long story short, I stuttered on that one. Don't judge somebody.
Yeah.
Because after that, I've learned there might be something wrong with somebody. It was scary because I had a hairdresser I hired once, and he would sit there, and I made cookies a lot, and I thought he was enjoying my cookies because he'd go, ooh.
And he had Tourette?
I found out 2 years later, and I felt really bad. I said to him one day, I go, I never knew you had Tourette's. And I go, when you used to sit there and I'd make those cookies and you go, ooh. I go, I just thought you were enjoying them. And he said no, because his Tourette's got really bad where he actually, I think he had to quit doing hair because he would start cussing and just, it would just take off on him. He couldn't control it.
I worked with a DJ, a disc jockey on air that had that syndrome. And which was really funny because it never happened when he had the mic open. But before he would open the mic to go on the air, he would say all kind of crazy stuff. Ah! He'll go, oh, God. Well, the first time, before I even met him, the program director was bringing me into the studio to introduce me to the staff. And this guy was on the air, and we walked in just before he was about to do a break. So he turns the mic on. No, before he turned the mic on, he's doing all this, all these, what do you call them? There's a word that they use that describes the outburst. Echoes, not echoes, whatever it is. I can't think now. So he's doing this, and I'm looking at the program director. I'm going, is this guy on the air saying this stuff? And then when he turned the mic on, he was smooth as silk. I went, wow, how is that possible? So it was a psychological thing, I guess, that when he knew that mic was on, he straightened up.
Well, sometimes it's not that because I went and studied it a little after.
Okay.
And some people can't control it, but there's kids that are born with it, and it's not controllable. It's hard for them because people make fun of them. And just from those instances, I've learned, it's like anything else. There's people that have that and they just blink like that. Mm-hmm. There's different symptoms they do. And I used to wonder with my daughter because I don't know if you've ever been around somebody and if her ear itches, somehow she cleans it from inside. She'll make these noises with her
throat or whatever?
With her throat, yeah. She'll be scratching.
Really?
What are you doing?
Itching the ear.
My ear's itching, but she does it from
inside
her vocal cords. Somehow she gets the itch to go away. But it's a very sad thing when people have it. Yeah. There's people that just have very mild cases. They'll just make a sound, but there's people that have it really bad, and it's sad. And that was to tell people don't ever judge anybody. just
Yeah.
because. I mean, I was scared. I mean, come on,
You
you,
n-
pull
you-
out a honey knife. and-
Yeah, you never know what somebody else's world is about. You could drive down the street and see someone standing on the corner and they look in perfect health, bright smile and all of that, but they may have a horrific health condition that you just can't see.
Well, it's funny. We all have something. It's like people look at me and they'll say, "You're always so happy." I go, "No, I go home and I fight depression." I tell them that's why I get up and I walk in the morning, because I think of all the things that are bothering me. And
I think everyone suffers from some level of
yeah, and
depression.
then if something's going on with my kids, I take all their pain.
Yeah, you
They
internalize
they
it.
don't know this, but I do.
They know it.
It's like if
They
I
know.
read things on my granddaughter's page and people are saying terrible things, the rest of the day I get a little sick behind it. It bothers me because they don't know her.
Yeah.
And
But you got to learn to not take that to heart, though.
But you say that, but when you have somebody in the business or a friend or just anything, I've seen people go in and just insult people for no reason.
Yeah, and especially
I
in
seen
this
it.
day
When
and
did
time with
the other day
social
I seen
media.
it. This girl had a really nice body, and they were in there saying just terrible things. What? Because she has a nice body and she works out. Why don't you try something else and just say, "Wow, you have a great body"?
Well, because they're
I
haters.
do that.
They're haters.
Because people look at me. I will compliment women walking down the street,
Mm-hmm.
and I find it really. There's nothing wrong with it. Sometimes a woman takes me wrong. I go, "No, I'm not gay. I'm
Right.
just telling
Just
you
giving you a compliment.
that you look great."
Yeah.
And I've seen women come out of stores, and just from being a person that runs a business, and it's a business where I deal with people,
Mm-hmm.
no matter how bad I feel that day, I've got to be on the upbeat for them.
Yeah.
It's like one time I was going to Costco's, and my friend said, "Oh, look at that woman's face. She's so angry." I said, "No, maybe there's something bothering her." So I rolled down the window. I looked. I said, "Wow, and I did like her jewelry." I said, "I love your jewelry. Where did you get it?" And she told me, that her friend makes it.
Mm-hmm.
And I go, "Wow, it is so beautiful." Her whole face lit up.
Mm-hmm.
So,
You never know.
sometimes if you just go out of your way to
Sure.
compliment somebody,
Right.
especially my type of clients, I have women, they sit in my chair and they cry.
Yeah.
It's hard for a woman when you lose your hair.
Yeah.
Women lose their hair not as much from menopause because women aren't using those hormones.
Mm.
I used to see a lot of women when they would go through menopause lose hair from the hormones. And now that women I don't think women even use hormones as much now.
Let me ask you this, and it's a it's a different spin from a male perspective here. If you were coming out of a store, just in a mall or wherever, and a man came up to you and said, "You're a beautiful woman. I like your shoes. Or you look great today." Would that make you uncomfortable?
Oh, no, I would say thank you. You made my day.
See-
That's me. When a man or even a woman compliments me,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes I'm a little shy about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like people say, "Oh, you got beautiful." I say thank you. But if a man walks up and says something nice like that to me, I say thank you. But then that did happen. Remember I told you this man wanted to meet me,
Mm-hmm.
and he seen my picture. He said, "Oh, you have beautiful eyes." And I came back at him. I said, "Thank you." And he came back at me really rude. And he said, "Is that all you could say?" And he got really
What
rude
else is
with
there
me.
to say?
Well, that's
You're
what
thanking him for a
I
compliment.
thanked him for the compliment.
Well, see, as a guy, I'm reluctant about complimenting a woman about how she looks, even if I know her.
Oh, I like compliments.
I'm uncomfortable with that because I don't see. I guess, especially being in the corporate world for so many years, you have to be very concerned about making those kind of compliments because it could set you
Oh,
up.
sexual harassment.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah,
newest thing. And that's
yeah.
kind of messed up.
It is.
I seen it in something recently where a woman and everybody, a newswoman that worked for somebody, a station person, I didn't feel he insulted her.
Mm. Was this
There's
the Roger Ailes thing?
Yeah, there was
Yeah.
something he said, which I did not see that as I would have took it as a compliment.
Mm.
It's like when I came in today, I have this certain hat I wear.
The Gabby
And
Hayes
to be
hat.
honest, I know Lee likes it because
It
that's,
is. It's
that's
funny. Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
I don't think everybody could wear that hat.
Where's that hat? Let me see.
It's over there
Let me
on the
get that hat.
bench. It's a hat that's me. But there's women that could never wear that hat because they're not. I'm a certain type character. We all are. And there's things I can do and there's things they can do and look great.
This is the hat, folks.
But I love that hat. And that hat right now is very popular.
Reminds me of Gabby Hayes.
But see, there's women, they wouldn't wear that hat.
I love it too. It's a fun hat.
But it's funny. I walk with that hat, and I have women stop me, and they say, "Where'd you get that hat?" And I go, "My sister's bought it for me." Now, my one sister
you
that
should say, I
helped
made it.
pick it out, I heard she don't like the hat, but she picked it out, and you know why? Because she knows me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like people look at me and they look at my feet, they go, "Did you know you have two different socks on?" I go, "Yeah." Well, why do you wear two different socks? I go, "Because I'm not going to throw them away. I can't find the other socks, so I just wear two different socks."
No, you should say I bought them that way. Really? Where'd you get those? Little shop down the street?
So you have to be comfortable with yourself.
Yeah, you're right.
So
Got to have fun, too.
So I love it when somebody gives me a compliment because I sometimes get more insults from people. Like I posted a picture the other day. I had been walking. And I posted it from the time I started. It was still a little dark.
Yeah.
And as I got done, I know lighting because when you work with different clients, sometimes being the hair, I have to know the lighting.
Sure.
And with Michael Jackson, we had to know his lighting.
Yeah.
So the light was great. If you get out at a certain time in the morning, you don't have to put filters on anything. And
Yeah.
I had like 5 people send me texts. What kind of I said, I didn't use no filter. It's the light. If you
Yeah.
go out a certain, because I've always wanted to be a photographer and people tell me I'd be a great one. I go out at a certain time. If you take a picture at a certain time in the morning, if you watch photographers and they're going to shoot you outside, it's either going to be early in the morning or it's going to be in the afternoon, maybe around 4 o'clock, maybe 3 to 4, right around that sun starts peaking to a different, that's your best
Different
lights.
tone
But,
or whatever. Yeah.
you know, I just thought it was funny that people thought I filtered it because I didn't think I looked, I thought I just looked like Carol. I didn't do nothing to that picture.
Right. Well, that's, like you said, it's perfect timing.
Yeah, lighting is something you should know.
Absolutely.
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
I notice a lot with Lee being a nice guy, and I'm just curious. I notice he will, if somebody wants him to do something, he doesn't hesitate. But sometimes he's doing other things and he'll still get up and do things for people. Does that ever upset you? Or that's just you?
Yeah, it's just me.
See, a lot of
I
men
didn't even
wouldn't
trip on
do
it.
that. They would say, "I ain't your bitch." and
No,
in a
I just-
way,
I'm into helping people.
I don't do that to him. Like I've asked,
No,
hey,
no,
by
you're a
the
nice
way, where's
person.
my headphones? I'm being funny.
Oh.
I would never say to him,
I've been so doggone busy, Carol. I'm glad
No,
you
listen
reminded
to
me.
what I'm saying,
I
though.
will
I
go
would never
today
say,
and pick that
Lee,
up.
get my headphones fixed
Yeah.
because he's doing me a favor. So that's why I said that like that just now.
Yeah.
But I've noticed he's very nice about that with people. He'll stop everything he's doing to do something, and he doesn't lose. I've seen him lose his temper with me. We've been at it. But that's okay.
But
because,
you're my best friend now.
Yeah, because we move on after. It's
That's
over,
right.
you know.
That's right.
I'm not going to
Yep.
dwell on anything. It's not worth taking up my time.
No.
So I'm just saying, I'm just curious. With you, you just never lose it.
No,
And
you know what?
I watch you say sometimes when people say things, and I can see he's thinking about it, but he doesn't do it.
I've learned to process situations internally without losing my control because, and this is how I've kind of managed this situation. And I equate it to being a Gemini. There's a real laid back person, which I enjoy most. And then there's the other person that don't take no crap. When you start shitting on me, I'm going to respond and it's not going to be pretty. So I try to keep that person in jail You lock him up. Don't let him out. And so I know that exists, and I've learned that, you know what? It ain't that important. And it's a better way to deal with a situation than losing control, losing your composure. At the end of the day, where do you want to be? You want to be in a good space, or you want to be in a bad space? And I've lost my temper before in life, and I'm not proud of it. And I don't want to do that. So I just keep that under control.
I did that too, and it can ruin a relationship.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I don't sit and blame everything on my ex that he did everything wrong. I know the things I did wrong.
Exactly. So you gotta know how to manage that.
And I told my friend this morning, who did I tell? I told her, I want to have a relationship before I die again. They go, you want to have sex? Well, now.
Well, is there a difference? I mean, having a relationship, does that mean that you have to be involved in sex, or what?
Well, I don't know. I thought about that. Does it? Because a lot of my married friends I talk to, they don't have sex with each other any longer. I thought, oh. But there just comes...
And they're cool with that.
I don't know if they're cool with it. They seem to be. And then I have friends that they still have an amazing relationship with it. Maybe people just get... I don't know. I know with my ex, it got down to maybe once a week. And then when he started cheating, it got worse and worse.
Yeah.
And like your friend called me, what did he call me, a hoe?
Yeah, Charles Butler.
You know, explaining.
He's the hoe, really.
Cheating on me. Why am I a hoe?
Right.
If he's cheating on me and I just decided I'm not sitting here.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you could be going out with somebody, but that don't mean you're having sex with them now.
That's true. That's true. I mean, Carol and I have gone out for, dinner a couple of times, lunch?
Yeah.
We're not having sex. We're
hell no. It's like having a bad...
Carol, you didn't have to say it like
not
that.
That he's
I mean,
not
it's like,
appealing, but he's become a friend of mine, and I'm not one of these people. When you become a friend, I'm not going to take it somewhere else because it'll ruin our friendship.
Right. And you know what?
And not that
I agree
he's
with
not
you on
appealing. He's a very appealing man, very handsome. I've been trying to bring a friend
Carol.
of mine around to meet him, but...
You got some friends you could hook me up with?
I have some friends I think would like you.
You know, You're Not Alone is another show that airs here on the Power of Voices. And they had a show. They recorded a show yesterday for podcast. And it was about relationships at middle age. People in their 50s and 60s or maybe even 40s. Some people consider middle age late 40s. But and it was an interesting show that they did. So you guys got to tune into that. They're on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 7, I believe. Let me just double check that.
I think where it throws a lot of older women and probably men too is they'll sit and say, oh, I got this young, fine thing sitting here next to me. So right away, that to me is a turnoff. If that same man turns around and meets me and he kind of likes me and he's like, wow, I want to take you out. And it's like, I wouldn't go out with him because he's already turned me off. I'm not 18 years old. I'm not 20. I'm not 30. I'm not 40. And I'm not going to go any further. But I'm just saying that's a turnoff to me because I'm not going to be those ages. Now, I'm not saying I have a bad-looking body because I do work out. And no, it's not an 18-year-old's body. Not that it couldn't be. But ever since I fractured my shoulder, it's caused me where there's some things I can't do.
Right.
And that, but I have a friend, and she's an actress, and believe me, these young girls don't have nothing on her body.
Really?
No, I showed you her picture one day.
Oh, yeah. She looks great.
Yeah.
You're Not Alone airs on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturday at 8 p.m. You got to check these ladies out. One is Italian. The other one is Puerto Rican. And they're in that middle age. I'm not sure exactly. Well, I take that back. I think one of them did indicate in the show that she was 60 or 63. She looks great. She's in great shape. If she had not said her age, I would have not said, oh, you look 60 years old. I've seen women that in her physical shape or condition in their 40s. So she's in good shape. And the other lady is in good shape as well. And I'm not sure how old she is. She didn't indicate. She's the Italian. She's a little shorty, a little cutie. She's in, she looks good. And, and they had this discussion about that. And they had a guy on, and they had a lady that called into the show as well. It was a very interesting dialogue. And that was the show that I was telling you about, Rio. Rio was the other lady that called in. And Rio has this warped sense of humor, especially as it relates to relationships and sex and men and the whole thing. So she cracks me up on her Facebook page. Rio Sol, something or other. And I'm trying to get her to come on the show and cut it up with us. She would be a blast. But, yeah, so that's what it's all about.
Well, it's with women, it's very hard at times.
Do you now in your life right now? Now, I've heard you say that you kind of think you would like to have a relationship.
Yeah, I would.
What's keeping you from having a relationship?
When I get done working, I'm tired. And I think about it. If I dated, would I have to go out all the time? I have a lot of younger guys hit on me. I don't know why. It's not for money. I've had some very wealthy younger guys hit on me. I make a point of telling young girls
are
this.
you a cougar?
No, but I probably could be.
Yeah.
But I don't. I like older guys. I see some very good-looking older men.
Mm-hmm.
I like a man for him. It's like my ex. I remember when I worked with Michael Jackson and we'd do things with him. He would tell me later, he goes, I'm going to call you guys Beauty and the Beast. And he'd call him a swayback gray gorilla.
Damn. He was kind of jacked up looking?
No, he was very handsome to me.
Okay.
I judge people different.
Well, why did Michael say that?
I very seldom would. I don't know.
He didn't like him, did he?
No, he did. He just didn't. He thought I could be with someone better looking. But looks isn't everything. He was
that's true.
Very handsome to me.
Yeah.
I don't like pretty boys. I never have. I've never been competition to a woman for a pretty boy. They just don't appeal to me. I don't want a man that looks better than me.
Do you think that at this point in your life, is it more difficult to get in that dating frame of mind?
I think to a degree it is, not because it's like my sister always tells me, if you wanted a man, there's plenty of men that would like you. She said, you look a lot better than a lot of these women there that are even younger than me. But I think about being with the man I was with, he kind of mentally screwed me up. Because sometimes you're with somebody, and in my mind, I was going to be with him for life. I never, ever in my life told any man I ever loved him. He's the only man I ever said that to.
Wow.
So to me, it was a very deep thing. I'm not a woman that has dated millions of men or hundreds or whatever. So it's one of those things where sometimes I don't think I have the confidence. Like there's a girl that I'm letting her rent a room, and she has no embarrassment of her body. I have to tell her, you got to put your clothes on. I really don't care to see your ass. And I look at her and I go, why do I get, when I look at myself and it's like, you have a nice body. And I look at her and it's not perfect, but she's very comfortable with herself.
Right.
And I would like to be more comfortable with myself. I've always been a type of woman, when I used to date, I would have to do like a man did. I would do maybe 20 push-ups first, so that dress, those arms would look great. And I mean, I'm being honest. I've known men do this. I would sit and work out a little, maybe do some squats.
Yeah.
I had a disorder. It wasn't an eating, it was a workout disorder because I wanted everything to be perfect. And I laugh about that now, how I would hurry up and I could do men's sit push-ups real easy. And I think about that. I was very vain. I didn't want anything to be out of proportion. I mean, I had the six-pack, and because I worked out.
You worked at it.
I had a
You earned
really
it.
bad disorder. I would work out 4 and 5 hours.
Wow.
Because I was obsessed, and I realized now it was just like somebody has an eating disorder that wants to taste skinny.
Yeah.
And it's funny because one day one of my sisters looked at me. She said, "Are you sick?" I said, "Why?" "Well, you're so small."
Mm.
And that kind of woke me up a little. And then when I met my ex, I still worked out like that. And maybe 5 years into the relationship, he said, "Why don't you put some weight on?"
Mm.
So I realized you don't have to be perfect.
And what is perfect, you know?
I don't know what perfect is any
Yeah,
longer because at that time I thought I was perfect. I mean,
Yeah.
there wasn't a bit of my body that
Yeah.
was out of place.
Yeah. See, that I think that's the pressure that society puts on us.
They do.
You know, and the glamour magazines and
Well,
what you
that's
see on
why,
TV and
Lee, they
movie.
say a heavy-set woman
Mm-hmm.
is sometimes your best relationship. Like you'll go out and women can be snidey, and they'll say, "Ooh, what's he doing with that overweight woman?"
Yeah.
I've sat with men because I get along with men better than women.
I know a lot of women that say that.
I can converse
Women
with them.
can be very catty.
And, they'll sit and they'll tell me, "I like a heavy-set woman because she's comfortable with herself. You can go to bed with her sexually, and she's very pleasing. She's not all hung up, that there might be a flaw somewhere because she could care less. She's enjoying it."
Right.
And that's the word, enjoying it.
Yeah.
Whereas
Exactly.
someone like me at the time when I was so concerned that everything had to be perfect, I probably could have enjoyed it more if I didn't think like that.
Right.
I wanted to be in a certain position and let me get like this. And I mean,
You were
a lot of women will not admit this,
Yeah.
but it is the truth.
Yeah. Yeah. I believe
And a
that.
lot of men want it, but a lot of men, they might say they want that woman with that killer body, but deep down, they probably have more pleasure from a woman that isn't so hung up on that.
Yeah.
Because they're the
it-
ones, for some reason, that seem to have the men.
Exactly, and that's because they're like you said, comfortable with themselves, and they're that's not what's top of mind in terms of the enjoyment in that relationship. You know what I mean?
That's very true because I've told you, I used to be with a older guy, and I guess they called him my sugar daddy.
Mm-hmm.
But I was only there for a purpose of how I looked. I was
That's
not.
what he wanted.
That's all he could have wanted because sexually I was a bore to him. Because I'm not one of these women. I wasn't in tune to him that way.
Gotcha.
So I was just somebody he liked to basically say walk around with.
Showpiece,
Yeah, it was a showpiece. He
Yeah.
would take me to the
candy on the arm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He would take me to the racetrack because he was original stockholder.
Okay.
And he had race horses. I always wondered, he was probably part of the Jewish mafia, which I could care less. He would go there and he would get mad at me because he wanted me to take my coat and walk, but let it drag on the ground. For what? And there would be
The
young women
princess,
doing
the
this.
queen.
I don't know what it was with older men back then, but he would want me, and I refused to. I was no way in hell. But there was a lot of things I noticed with him. He would get upset, like if we went on trips. I was a showpiece. He would get mad if, say, a younger guy came out and said, "Oh, do you mind if I ask your granddaughter to dance?" And he would be furious. And I'd have to look and I'd say, "He's not my granddaughter. I'm not his granddaughter. He's my husband."
That's my man.
Yeah, I would do that because
Yeah.
that was wrong. I
Yeah.
mean, you don't do that. And I caught myself doing that last week. I was in Costco's and this older white guy, and I could hear them behind me. And I turned and it was a really pretty young black girl, very pretty. And she was telling him what she wanted and this and that. And being in that situation myself, I could read between the lines. And I
Sure.
started conversing with them. We started talking and she was very nice. But I could see between the lines. And
So you think that was his girlfriend or wife or whatever?
no, I don't think it was his wife. I think she was a young girl that he loves young women, and he probably had a wife sitting at home.
Ah.
But he was very nice, and
Bet
she was
you got
very
a
nice
chick
to
on
him.
the
And
side.
I laugh because sometimes people have made comments to me when I was with this guy for 20-something years.
Mm.
So believe me, it wasn't just about money.
Yeah.
He taught me how to run a business. That's where I got a lot of my knowledge is
Right.
from him.
Right.
He taught me how to do a lot of things that sometimes we always can learn from an older person.
Sure. They've got knowledge, experience.
Well, he
you know?
definitely had knowledge.
Yeah.
And sometimes people don't realize this. It doesn't make me a prostitute or whatever people want to call me. I wasn't sitting in clubs every week picking up a different man and taking him home and having sex with them. This was a relationship for years.
Right. Now, at this point in your life, if you were to meet a man that you had interest in, what kind of relationship would are you be interested in? Is it
I
just
think I think I could be sexual.
yeah?
I mean, I sometimes will turn on a porn or type it in my phone, and I go, "Oh man, I got to make sure I get this out," because I found out if you put it in your phone and you go to that site, they're gonna get you, and they're gonna start coming in.
Oh, really?
So I'll catch myself doing that, and thinking I get all excited, and I have to turn it off because I'm like, "Wow, I don't have nobody to handle this. I'm not dead, believe me, I'm not dead."
Oh boy!
The right man come along, and I really like him.
Would you give him some on the first night?
Oh no, I would never do that to anybody in my life. I never
No?
have done that.
No?
I don't know somebody the first
What-
night.
What if you just lost you? if you
I
just-
would never.
Oh
lose
my
it.
God! I gotta have it.
The guy I lived with for years. I'm going to tell you how cool he thought he was. So we meet. I'm at this club downtown, and I had come from a wedding, so I had on a suit. I used to wear men's suits, but
Yeah?
I had on a skirt suit that day.
Okay.
I used to love men's suits,
Uh-huh.
but I could make them very sexy.
I bet.
So he came out and he had a balloon and he handed it to me, and I thought, what a creep. But it's funny, he was nice to me. So
Yeah.
he walked me to my car, and then he asked me, could he call me sometime? And I thought about it. I said, sure. He's nice enough to walk me to my car. Most men don't do that.
Right.
So I started dating him, but I still didn't really like him.
Mm.
But this guy, my boyfriend, ex-man, he had an overnight bag he kept in his trunk.
Just in case, huh?
Yeah, no, he was so sure of himself.
Ah.
So he would come. I tell him, you want to come up and, have some coffee and maybe talk. I wasn't inviting him to go to bed now. And he'd have that little bag.
He brought it in the house with him?
Yes, his little duffel bag. But it
So
never.
what you got in the bag, dude?
It never happened. But when it did happen,
He always had it with him.
always had it with him. When it did happen, we really enjoyed each other's because we knew each other's.
Yeah.
I didn't have to be drunk because I didn't drink. I do like smoking weed when I'm doing that, but we knew each other's, so it was different.
Yeah.
And it's funny because as time progressed with him, he would say to me, now I have other women I see, so I could see you maybe once or twice a week, and I'm pretty cool now. I'm one of these women. I said, that's great.
It's okay. That works for me.
I said, because I have
Good?
I have a boyfriend in D.C. and he likes to come out. So when he comes out,
So yeah, I had a perfect arrangement.
you can't come over. So when he did come, who was downstairs ringing the door trying to get in? So I came down. I said, you can't do that.
Yeah.
But the funny thing
bad
is,
timing, dude.
I didn't do anything with the guy. I sent him home. But this made my ex change. All of a sudden, he realized he wanted a relationship.
Yeah.
So sometimes you got to play the game back with. It's vice versa, women, man. Whatever.
So there you have it, guys. They still play the game.
Yeah, there'll always be a game.
I don't know. I don't like the games.
Well, women you end up with,
I don't
women you married. How did that take place?
I don't know.
I know we don't have a lot of time, but
Yeah.
just curious.
Yeah. I
Did
don't
you
know.
fall in love? Was it a one night?
I fall in love immediately. That's the problem. And I've built up this callus now that.
Then you don't like them when it's over.
No, actually, all but maybe one. I'm in pretty good standings with. We can talk, chat and have a good time and hang out. And no
I
problems.
always know when my ex has a girlfriend because all of a sudden he doesn't want me to come over and watch TV.
That's a good indication, I guess.
Yeah.
I see here Hillary and Bernie are holding a joint rally at the University of New Hampshire going on right now. So this is part of her new strategy to try to get some of those millennials that Bernie owned.
I think if they watch that, well, that's what they said was really watching that debate. I think a lot of them know that you can't let that man in office.
Mm-hmm.
And let's hope. I really think they think that way.
I hope so, because really it's put up or shut up time now. Really is. It is what? Just weeks away, 41 days or so to November 8th, Election Day. Early voting starts in many of the states within the next 2 weeks. Most states a month before. So that's getting the crunch time. And the undecided voters, this is that most critical point. Getting them engaged and making a commitment and then holding them until people walk into that booth. And this is probably one of the most unique presidential races, at least in my lifetime. More controversy and scandals, and who knows what the turnout is going to be. Is it going to be a large turnout? If the debate from the other night is any indication, obviously there are a lot of people that were interested in that debate, the largest debate of all time. The largest one for Obama was with Obama and Romney, and that was at 67 million. And this one they're saying toppled 80 million. So there's some interest, at least in the debate. Now, whether or not people will stay engaged from now until Election Day. And I think that a lot of that will depend on how soon the two candidates get to the substance and get away from the bovine, the name calling, and all of the negative, digging, if you will. Because I don't think the negative stuff really wins. I don't think it does. I think what people are interested in is what's important to them, what's going to help change their lives, what's going to help move the ball down the court, if you will. And if you can't provide that, you lose. I was hoping to bring up the rally, but for some reason the video is not coming up for me. But we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. This is going to be a tight race, I believe. I think it'll be go down to the wire. I think Hillary's going to win because she has the advantage going in with the Electoral College. And I think she'll win the popular vote, but probably not by a lot. I think the turnout might be a little low.
You think the turnout for voting will be low?
Yeah, I do.
I don't.
Because the reason I'm thinking that is because of what I saw in Vegas. A lot of people seem disinterested.
Yeah, but I think this lecture, just listening to people, I was listening to radio shows and these were questions, and it changed a lot of people's mind. They realize they need to vote.
Well, they do.
If this guy gets in office, he will destroy our country.
Well, we definitely need to.
Who talks about getting rid of NATO?
It's because he doesn't understand, and either he doesn't understand the value of NATO, and or he's getting some bad advice from some military officials or former, and many of the people that he is using as advisors are outdated. Anybody that's going to tell that guy that they need a oversized military with all these battleships and destroyers and aircraft carriers and all of that stuff is stuck in a rut.
Well, you didn't hear what he said. He would have went in there and took all the oil.
Yeah.
What was that about?
Yeah.
That's what
Well, it's been-
you did
it's-
anyway. Bush, there was no mass weapons.
Yep.
They were guarding the oil wells because I was going over to the Middle East at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And when I would be on a plane, it was always there'd be young kids for some reason I'd be sitting next to it.
Mm-hmm.
They would tell me that he
Well,
has soldiers guarding those
Of
wells
course.
that Bush did.
Well, and he's a gangster. He's a crook. He's a thief. He'll go in and commandeer, bombard the way in, and take something that doesn't belong to him. Now, I tend to agree with his position on, and this is my words, not his words, because I would never echo exactly what he says. But I believe that if we're going to be the policemen of the world, then they need to pay for their safety. They need to pay for our military. We shouldn't go in and bear that cost to protect another country. Now, one can say, well, it's in our best interest to do that because that ensures our global safety. But if a country is in trouble and they call us and say, help, help. Now, if you're serious about getting our help, you need to pay for it. Why should the taxpayers of America bear all of that expense? So if we go into Iraq and save their butts, now whether they give us, 200-300 oil fields and that's our method of getting repaid, or they pay us in cash. But some kind of compensation needs to be had because the cost of life, those airplanes and missiles that go in and defend their position, somebody's got to pay for it.
Well, you know what my answer was to it? If he wants war, I guess you got 2 sons, 3 that could lead it.
Send them on out there.
Yeah, let
Send
them
your
go.
daughters too. Hey, listen, you're going to commit or you're just going to say, I'm not paying no taxes because I'm smart. Okay. Well, with that, we're out of here. We'll talk to you tomorrow, 10 a.m. right here. You coming in tomorrow or you out on assignment?
No, I'm home here.
You'll be here. All right. You going to bring some food?
It's today, Thursday. I did
Yeah,
today.
I know. But
You should've
I'm
kept
thinking
my
about
hat on,
tomorrow.
though.
All right. That's the end of the show. We got to go. See you tomorrow at 10 for another show. It's Lee and Carol on the Lee Michaels Show and the funky hat. Have a great day. Bye-bye.